incredible families, an incredible community that has come together to deal with this situation. Because it's a lie.
Right now, I'm just worrying about my daughter. That's all I care about right now, and making sure that policy is enforced. All I care about is that the executive order is enforced and making sure our girls are protected. That's all I care about. Bob Morgan is the least of my worries right now. It's embarrassing for him, frankly.
That is a Deerfield mother who is now in the national spotlight after her daughter was forced to dress in a locker room with somebody of the opposite sex. Good morning. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Before you heard there from Nicole Jorgis, you heard State Representative Bob Morgan from earlier this week. And this issue of transgender ideology, not just in sports, but even in a locker room or a bathroom, it's a flashpoint here in Illinois, as President Donald Trump has declared that woke ideology is dead, in his words. You still have, of course, the states like Illinois that have policies in place to foster what they say is more inclusion of those who are considering themselves of the opposite sex that they were born. So here we go with the latest in this story, which includes Nicole Jorgis filing a discrimination complaint with the U.S. Department of Justice, and that being referred to the U.S. Department of Education, and Jorgis saying that she actually got a call from the U.S. Department of Education Secretary Linda McMahon yesterday before she went to a news conference at the Illinois State House, saying that she indeed is in receipt of the investigation request, and it is being investigated. So something we'll have to follow up on. But you've got Jorgis yesterday taking to a podium, sharing her story at the Capitol in Springfield.
My name's Nicole Jorgis, and I'm a mom of 4 from Deerfield, Illinois. My family and I have lived in Deerfield for over 20 years. On February 5th, my daughter was using the female bathroom and was stunned that a biological male was using it as well. She came home frightened and extremely upset. I asked her to talk with her teachers and to find out a little bit more information. She was told that the students can use the bathroom, that the student can use the female bathroom as well as the female locker room, because they now identify as female. I sent an email to the teachers involved and received a phone call from the principal. He verbally reiterated that under Joanna Ford's direction and their legal counsel, that the student can use both the locker room and the bathroom. I expressed that the school was in clear violation of federal policy. This Trump administration issued an executive order restricting that biological males from participating in sports and accessing female locker rooms. That day, I filed a civil rights complaint on behalf of my daughter with the Department of Justice. It has now been referred to the Department of Education. The situation went from bad to worse. The girl just wanted their privacy and their locker room back without the biological male present. A few days later, the biological male student was changing in the girls' locker room. Feeling violated, the girls made their choice to not change into their PE clothes with the biological male student present. The next day, the principal pulled girls into the office questioning them. The same day, the assistant superintendent, Joanna Ford, Kathy Van Treese, who is the assistant principal, and multiple other teachers came into the girls' locker room. They made them change into their PE uniform. This went on all week with the addition of Ginger Logerman, who was part of the Deerfield School District. My daughter refused to take part in having her privacy being violated. She ran out and called me for help. Principal Wegley offered my daughter a new PE class. The answer was absolutely no. She is not changing for the remainder of the year, and she is not changing anything about her schedule.
The story, obviously, coming from the mother. She claims to have evidence of this happening, and this has been all over national headlines for the past week, ever since Nicole went to a school board meeting and shared her concerns and her daughter's story. But she was standing there with the Illinois Freedom Caucus as well, who has brought this up on the Illinois House floor several times since then, including on Tuesday, where State Representative Adam Niemerg got up and he addressed the Illinois House, talking about the Jorgis family and what happened there. Of course, Niemerg is from a district that's Southern Illinois. Deerfield Deerfield's the suburbs of Chicago, and not Niemerg's district. So Niemerg bringing that up on the House floor prompted the likes of State Representative Bob Morgan, who is from Deerfield, a Democrat from Deerfield, and he reacted to Niemerg raising this on Tuesday. And this is just some of what Morgan had to say on Tuesday.
For those who need to be defended and protected, making sure we have great schools, which we do, by the way, have incredible, incredible schools, incredible families, an incredible community that has come together to deal with this situation. Because it's a lie. So the next time a representative wants to talk about other districts, again, I understand he may be ashamed, and frankly probably should be. But instead of standing on this floor and taking our time here today, talking about children, maybe try and help your own district.
Thank you, Representative.
So Morgan was ultimately standing up, trying to shame Niemerg for showing up to the Capitol, getting his pot per diem. They get like $170 a day, by the way, if you didn't know that. Legislators do. Above their pay, which is like $90,000. And then they get $170+ for per diem and travel costs and all of that stuff. It's kind of the perks of the job, I guess. But Morgan said that he would be embarrassed if he was going to the State House, not advocating for people in his district, instead of going and pointing to other districts and saying, those are the people I care about. So that's what Morgan was ultimately after, but he also said that the story was a lie. You heard him there. Jorgis was asked about that yesterday. I asked her, I said, what are your thoughts of him standing up on the House floor saying that this is a lie?
Frankly, I was embarrassed for him because it was shocking. He doesn't have children that go to Shepherd. How would he know specific things that would call it a lie? It was embarrassing, and it was shameful that he would say that. Right now, I'm just worrying about my daughter, and that's all I care about right now, and making sure that policy is enforced. All I care about is that the executive order is enforced and making sure our girls are protected. That's all I care about. Bob Morgan is the least of my worries right now. It's embarrassing for him, frankly.
Other state legislators were there, again, part of the Freedom Caucus. One in particular, Marty McLaughlin, he talked about how this is happening more than just one or two stories, because one of the questions a member of the media asked was, well, how many instances is this actually happening? Is it 5? Is it 3? Is it 12? Is it 100? What's going on here in Illinois? Is it really that big of an issue? Here's Marty McLaughlin reacting to that.
I am personally aware of over 50 families that have had complaints about exactly the same issue. But what these families are worried about is progressive, passive discrimination. Suddenly a student won't be making the dance team. Suddenly a captain on the basketball team will be benched. This is what's happening if these students don't go along with the agenda, and it's wrong.
So McLaughlin sharing that he's aware of, like 50 families, he said. But to that question of, it's just a couple of instances. Why is this such a big deal? Blaine Wilhauer, state representative from Beecher City, he said it doesn't matter if it's just a few people.
We don't care if it's 1, 2, or 3 people. Number one, we don't know that. It needs to be 0 people, okay? That's the bottom line.
Now, I had a question at the tail end, but the tail end of the news conference got a little bit disrupted. One of the questions I had was about mental health. We were talking a lot about sports and changing, and what about the mental health impacts on these children on both sides of this equation, right? Not just the child victim here that the mom is putting out there, having to have changed in a locker room with somebody born of the opposite sex, and that's their concern. But what about the mental health of the individual struggling with their gender identity? How do we address the mental health issues here? Somebody that was also there in attendance with the Jorgis family, Nicole, the father was there. Their 4 children were there. Nicole taking the lead on this. But another person that was there in support was Shannon Adcock from Awake, Illinois. And I touched base with her after the news conference to really kind of have her sound off on the issue of mental health in the space of this conversation, and how there really isn't that much conversation about that.
Yes, no, I think that most people in this country have very strong concerns for the mental health of children, particularly those girls or boys in middle school when you're already uncomfortable, you're going through puberty. And so, yes, it's a very difficult time. It's a very difficult transition. Kids today have a lot of stressors. The pace of life is very quickly. Childhoods are shorter now. And so I think this is a very real concern. But the issue with a child who may be struggling with their identity, I have a lot of compassion for that child. I think most people do, even the families who are upset with a biological male being in their daughter's spaces. So the good news is that people are realizing more about what this identity struggle means, and that it is unethical and wrong to lie to a boy and say you can be a girl and enter a girl's space. Or you are a girl and you're struggling, maybe you should be a boy and go into the boys' space. We're learning in real time a lot of education on this issue, and the worst thing you can do to a struggling or depressed or confused child is lean into that struggle, right? So we have to resolve this ethically, and I believe that Title IX is one of the greatest protections right now for all students in the country to say, yes, we have compassion for children who are struggling, but we cannot lean into a lie that's dangerous, that's harmful. So let's find a way that's going to keep biological sex, the determination factor in these spaces. Girls go in the girls' bathroom and locker rooms, boys go into the boys'. Some facilities do have a gender-neutral, single-use occupancy. If you're really struggling with something, you ought not be exploited. That's really important. The children who are struggling the most, they should not be used as pawns in these political games. So I do have concern for them, and I think most of America does too, but we're just in this really, emotional issue. But I think Title IX is one of the greatest protections for all children.
Got to unmute my mic there. Sorry about that. So yeah, Adcock just touching base on the mental health aspect here. And I think in all of the politics that gets involved here and the partisanship that there is on this issue, despite polling suggesting that more than half of those polled don't think that men should be competing in women's sports, all of the politics aside, the mental health issue seems to be going unaddressed in a very large capacity. So we'll see if that does get addressed. But clearly, an issue that we're going to have to follow up on, because you've got the federal discrimination complaint that Georgia's filed with the DOJ. It's now in the U.S. Department of Education's hands. I did ask her if she would be filing a lawsuit against Bob Morgan. She said that Morgan's the least of her concerns right now. She's focused on her children. So it is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Join us each and every weekday morning as I DJ the news for you. All right. Wiki, wak. So hopefully you're better informed. Get the headlines at thecentersquare.com and wake up with us each and every weekday morning here with Illinois in Focus Daily.